Why not divide the land? I'm reading a letter from Jewish Voice magazine. It begins with a letter to one of the journalists. Dear Sarah, I love Israel and have gone on several tours with my church. I do believe that the land belongs to the Jewish people, but for the sake of peace, I think they should consider the plight of the Palestinians and give up some of the land. That's from TK. And Sarah responds, Dear TK, thank you for writing. This is such a timely and important issue to understand. In purely secular times, the Arabs, calling themselves Palestinians, are occupying Israel's land, not the other way around. The UN in 1920 intended that the West Bank be part of the Jewish state homeland. However, Jordan seized it. Then Israel required it in 1967 after Jordan participated against Israel in the 1967 war. In fact, every time Israel was attacked by armies larger and better equipped than herself, God enlarged her borders. However, for the cause of peace, under world pressure, she gave back this hard-won land piece by piece, but gained no peace. In fact, the more Israel gave to her enemies, the greater the attacks and bloodshed she suffered, exactly as God warned in Numbers 33. As those who believe in the Bible, we must realize that the question of the Jewish right to the land of Israel is as clearly defined and absolute as the Ten Commandments. Genesis 15:18 through 20 details the covenant God made with the descendants of Abraham. On that day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, To your descendants I have given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river of Euphrates. This is not the only time God defines precisely the area of the earth the people of Israel are required to occupy and establish, the land of Israel, a land set apart for him. Again, in Exodus 23:31, God declares, I shall set your border from the Sea of Reeds to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness until the river. For I shall deliver the inhabitants of the land unto your hands, and ye shall drive them away before you. A slightly different description of the borders is found in Numbers 34:1 through 15. These borders were the biblical borders pertaining to tithing and agricultural laws, including the Jubilee applied from the time of Moses until now. What is relevant is that in every case, the required borders of Israel are far greater than the mini-state of modern Israel. This is a tiny piece of real estate set apart on earth by God for his purposes, for his glory, and for his people Israel. It is not negotiable according to Scripture. All things of God begin and end in that special land. Of all people, Christians should understand those that understand Israel's sovereign mandate and stand with and for the inalienable right of the Jewish people to the whole of the land, whether or not it seems fair or nice to the Arabs. God laid out very specific rules for that one tiny spot on earth and for those strangers who wish to dwell there, to join themselves to the people of Israel, to learn of his ways and live according to those ways within his land. There are vast Arab lands in the Middle East where the Arabs can live. However, one glance at the map gives a clear view of the true nature of the problem. It is not a lack of Arab land. It is the mere presence of Israel among the vast Arab nations that is the true problem. The true goal has not changed to this date among the Arab states, nor among the Palestinian Arabs. According to their most recent speeches, the goal of an Israel-free Middle East is paramount. In Joel 3:1 through 2, God warns against dividing the land of Israel. I will enter into judgment with them there on behalf of my people and my inheritance, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and they have divided up my land. Zechariah also warned the nations that would come against them. On that day when all the nations of the earth are gathered against her, I will make Jerusalem an immovable rock of all nations. All who try to move it will injure themselves. If America, as perhaps one of the last supportive nations on the face of the earth, pursues a policy against God's plans for the Jewish people and imposes a blasphemous treaty upon Israel, the result can only be disastrous for America. We invite a curse upon ourselves by cursing Israel. And what kind of message are we sending when the U.S. declares war on every terrorist country around the world, but forces Israel to reward terrorists? Are we sending a message that terrorism is legitimate? If it is directly only against Jews, again, spiritually speaking, this is dangerous for America. The entire world has a stake in the restoration of the people and the land of Israel. For this is the precondition for the redemption of all nations in the world and the return of Yeshua. We need to pray for America, pray for our leaders, pray for Israel, and for the well-being of Jerusalem.